Today on Combat and Tactics, we are going to cover our final episode on stealth, hiding, cover, concealment. Welcome back to Knights of Last Call in our Combat and Tactics series. This is part 3 on covering stealth in combat. Yeah, it's that complicated that we
absolutely
we need to break it down. And honestly, we feel like we're kind of rushing it.
I feel like we are and shortchanging a lot of things that can.
Well, we're not shortchanging it, Nick. We're not shortchanging.
No, but we're trying to cover everything.
We're trying to cover everything as best we can.
Yeah, trying to get everything to you guys.
Well, if you haven't watched our first 2 sets of videos on stealth, you should definitely go ahead and take a look at that. We talk about what the hidden condition does. We talked about how cover and concealment help you become hidden, and how once you become hidden, you can use that flat-footed status that you gain to your advantage to maybe make sneak attacks or to lower the armor class of your opponent, so that if you're a spellcaster or a ranged attacker, you can get that really, really sweet -2 circumstance penalty to the enemy's armor class so that you can hit more often and crit more often, because that's what that's what we're really trying to do. So today in our final and third part, we're going to knock out the last couple of elements. Now, some of these, the first 2 videos, honestly, those are going to cover like 90% of your circumstances.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of circumstances that do come up, and I think they're worth talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first one covers another aspect of the stealth skill. We've talked about hide. There's another skill. It's called sneak.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is we talked about how there's 3 levels of observation: observed, hidden, undetected. Observed, that's your standard normal one. Everyone can see you. Hidden, they know what square you're in, and for purposes of your mini on a battle mat, your character, like, we know that the lizard man is right here, okay? But he is hidden.
Yep.
So we know what square he's in, but if we target him, it's a DC 11 flat check, right? But that third status, undetected,
That's the big one.
if you wanted to represent it, you would almost remove him.
And I've seen you do that before.
And I have done that before.
Yeah.
You have to trust your GM. He's in the room somewhere. Which square he's in, you don't know. And if the enemy is undetected, the procedure is brutal.
Yeah.
If Escanor wanted to attack the lizard man, who is undetected, okay, he's here and now he's undetected. Nick, our Escanor player, would have to point to a square and say, "I'm attacking that square."
Right.
Then, in secret, behind the roll,
Everything's secret, and I looked up almost every stealth thing was secret.
Well,
That's
because
the whole purpose of it. You're trying to be secretive. You're
I know,
trying to
but
be
you don't even know anything
undetected.
that's
I don't like secret rolls.
I know, I'm not used to it.
Stealth is probably the one instance where I would,
Okay.
because I am then going to roll the die. It's a flat check 11, and I'm going to tell Nick whether he missed. But I'm not going to tell him if he missed because there's no one in this square, or if because maybe he was right and he did guess the correct, where the battleship was.
But it was the low roll or something.
But he didn't roll 11.
I actually didn't hit, even if he was
Right.
detected.
So it's brutal. Right.
Now, did Burl got around this in our game by throwing
Area.
a fireball?
Oh, that's correct. Well, yeah.
AOEs do not apply to that.
Now, was that
if
just
you-
a house rule, or was that?
No,
that was
no,
legit?
that's how it
Okay.
is.
That's how it
you
works.
get around it then.
Yeah. If the burst would cover you, you don't get any sort of concealment.
Sweet.
Well, because fireball isn't making an attack roll.
Yeah, I just remember him doing that because I remember the guy being undetected and you removed it from the battle mat. And I was like, oh boy. And he's like, I'm a fireball in this area.
Right.
Start
I mean,
here
when
and
you-
go out.
when you think about it, it's
It makes
gonna,
sense.
Yeah, I'm going to take a swing as Escanor, or I'm going to shoot an arrow or something, and I want to hit that thing at that square, and he may or may not be there. I may have missed him because he's not there, or because I just rolled
close
shitty.
is good enough, and hand shoes
Right.
and hand grenades and horseshoes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's an important thing to notice, that for something like an area of effect spell, it doesn't matter as much. But for a
Right.
lot of spells, you need line of sight.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And if a creature is hidden or if a creature is undetected, you do not have line of sight. They basically can't cast spells on you
I was saying you can't even do it.
unless it's an AOE. But look at the great news. If this lizard man was hiding, okay, and let's say Burl wanted, now he's not just behind cover here, he's hiding.
Okay.
So while he's on our board, virtually you don't see him. In fact, what I should do, let's say he makes a hide check.
Okay.
And I say he's hidden. I remove him from the board. You all know he's in that square.
Yep.
Right.
But you can't see his model. And because you can't actually see his model, you can't use something like a magic missile spell. You couldn't use something like a fear spell. Fear is not an AoE. It's a targeted spell, and you do not have line of sight to him. So hiding is a great way to screw over spellcasters as well.
Now,
but if you threw a fireball here, okay, he might still get some cover bonus unless you literally threw the fireball like right there. But then maybe that wouldn't hit other monsters that are in the battlefield. But let's say there was a bunch of lizardmen out front, and you guys were fighting a bunch of lizardmen, and you wanted to catch all of the lizardmen, and then there's this guy, and he hides. So you go, okay, well, I'm going to throw the fireball here so that I can hit all the lizardmen. Well, yeah, it's going to hit him. It's going to ignore his hidden status, but he's still going to get the +2 bonus to his reflex save because of the cover. So it can be a great way to defeat spellcasters. What were you saying?
I was just asking, so you have 2 nice little corridors right here, right?
Yeah.
Now you're saying line of sight. Now if I have, like, Searing Light kind of just goes in a general direction, right?
I don't know what that means. But
Like, Searing Light is targeted.
yeah, it's an attack. Searing Light's like shooting a crossbow.
Okay, so basically, even though you would have a short corridor like that, if they are hidden,
Yep.
and they are completely, and they sneak and they're gone,
Yeah.
you still wouldn't
You
even.
have to pick a square.
Okay.
You have to pick a square.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that's where AoEs can be very effective.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because you're like, well, I know he's over there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in any case, let's say that this lizard man hides.
Okay.
So he's hidden. You know what square he's in. But now he decides to make a sneak check.
Yeah.
This is the other thing. There's 2 types of actions under stealth. There's hide. Hide lets you go from being observed to hidden. We know that he's there, but we just can't see him.
Yeah.
Right.
But we know what square he's in. I could target him just fine with my bows, my arrows, my spell attacks, like Rays of Frost or Searing Lights, anything that works like an attack. I can't target him because I don't have line of sight to him, but I can shoot an arrow into that square and hope it hits.
Right.
50% chance. But the lizard man rogue, could now make a sneak check. And if he makes a sneak check, he gets to move up to half his speed. But if he succeeds, it's a stealth check versus everyone's perception.
Right.
If he succeeds, he goes from being hidden to undetected.
So the same thing here. He could be hidden to some and undetected to others.
That is true.
Okay.
That's
That's
true.
what I was thinking.
So what that would mean is, let's say he passed the check and he is hidden to everyone. Okay? And so what he does is he's going to move from behind this pillar to be behind this pillar. So what he does is he's basically sneaking from here to here. But when he does that, he goes from being hidden to undetected. And so from a game master's perspective, I would say, all right, you see some movement and then you lose complete sight of him, track of him. You don't know where he is. Now, he's still hidden to you. You can't see him. So he's not standing here, right in the middle of the battlefield. He still needs cover.
Yeah.
He still needs concealment, but maybe he slunk away to here. Maybe he slunk over to here. Maybe he went over to here. You don't know. You can make some guesses if you're really smart. If there's only one other place he could be hiding.
Or he cast invisibility and then moved.
Okay, but Bob always complicating.
Sorry.
But
No, that's what happened in our AP.
That's what I was thinking about.
Okay, but the other thing is you pointed out, I make the second stealth check for sneak. I roll pretty okay. I'm no longer hidden, or I'm sorry, I'm still hidden to everybody. If you critically fail that, you actually become visible.
Yeah.
Oops.
If you fail the sneak check, you are still hidden. They know you're over here now, but everybody knows that you're hiding behind this pillar. Got it? Okay. So in other words, I move from here to here. I'm still hidden, still 50% mischance because you still can't see me really well, but you at least know where I am. You heard some footsteps. You saw a curtain rustle. You saw some little stones get flicked. But if I roll high enough that I beat, let's say, Escanor and Burl, now those characters have no idea where I am. They don't even know what square I'm in. But let's say I didn't roll high enough to beat Azius. Azius knows what square I'm in. I'm just hidden to Azius, which means Azius can target my square, and it means that Azius can attack me with a 50% mischance. Escanor and Burl technically have no idea what square I'm in.
Right.
Now, there's an action called Point Out, which Azius could take. It's one action. And he basically points at a square and says, he's right there. That would make me hidden to the other characters. Now, they still have the 50% mischance with the DC 11 flat check, but at least they know what square to target.
Now, can you go? So
Yeah.
when they hide, they have to make the check for everybody.
Yes. Well, no, they make one check.
Right. That's what I mean. That goes against everybody.
That's right.
So if Burl and Azius both failed that, and
It's not against. You wouldn't fail that.
or he hides to them,
Yes.
but it's not enough to hide from me.
Yes. Okay. So
So he is-
So the lizard man rogue makes a stealth check to
Right.
become hidden. He rolls high enough to beat these two characters' perception DCs. He does not roll high enough to
Right.
beat your perception DC.
Now,
you
if-
see him just fine.
Correct. So when he sneaks,
Can't do it.
it has no effect on
No
me.
effect on you.
But can he still sneak? And it's then
Oh, absolutely.
everything applies then for the other two.
Everything about hiding is subjective.
Okay.
It's relative to each character in the battle.
That's why I want to make sure, because I mean,
Like when you're
I'm
frightened,
gonna see him and he's gonna, like, walk
right.
around.
Like if you demoralize someone, they're frightened. They're frightened.
Right.
End of story. Sneak, hide, very, very different. And so when the character becomes undetected, at this point, you don't know where he is.
Right.
Now, if the character was literally completely undetected and no one knew where he was, this is where you might start using seek actions. And then the rules of the game, a seek action is like you pick like an area of like maybe like a almost like a cone shape.
okay.
Almost like a radar sweep. Or you could pick an area that's sort of like you can't just seek the whole room. But you could say, hey, I want to seek over here by these pillars. You make a perception check. If it beats their stealth DC, 10 plus whatever their stealth check is, you would say, oh, yep, you see some movement. He's hidden.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then you would know where he was. And then Azius could point him out. And now suddenly he's hidden to everybody.
Now, can you crit succeed that, and it would make them completely?
Escanor, Nick just asked me a question that I don't know the answer to.
Oh, well, while you're
Mark it on the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. This is a day to behold.
Wow, that's great. That's great. All right, Bob, while I'm looking this up.
Oh, I was gonna say, I wanted to offer a very simple solution too that I had found because this happened to us, and I got really nervous that it was going to keep happening to us when people went and were or had the undetected thing. And I know you can grab Hunter's Bane, which is a talisman that you could easily put on your item,
Okay.
or affix to your armor, and it's great. It's an item level 2, but when
Well, it's a talisman, so it's one use.
Yep. Yeah. It just happens, and then it's gone. Go buy another one. You know.
Yep.
But when an undetected enemy hits you, you can activate this, and the attacker it makes them hidden instead of undetected.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty nice. And I bought this after that mission because I was like, I'd never want to fight that thing again.
That mission.
Sorry, that
Adventure.
that battle that we fought, and
yeah.
I was thinking of solutions that we could find. So there are solutions out there. Maybe you get this before you end up fighting the invisible guy.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of really good ones. I mean,
yeah.
the go-to...
Dust of Appearance I like. I grabbed that one too.
The go-to easiest one is Fairy Fire, which is a spell which basically coats every creature in sort of non-flaming flames, and they can no longer hide from you.
That's sort of a Dust of Appearance makes them, they can't be concealed or invisible.
There you go. And to answer the question, Nick, you were on the right thing. If you make a seek action and you succeed, if you're searching for creatures, any undetected creature, meaning you have no idea where they are,
Right.
they become hidden instead. And any hidden creature becomes observed.
Right.
But if you critical succeed,
They're observed.
the undetected creature goes all the way to observe.
Wow.
Wow.
So if
that's
you
huge.
critically succeed, you would go from straight, I have no idea where they are, to I know what square they're in and I can see them. And I could just shoot them
I
straight
just have
up.
a feeling he's right there.
Right. And that's kind of the idea. With Seek, you have to choose an area. And if precision is necessary, it's either a 30-foot cone or a 15-foot burst. So it's almost radius burst. So it's almost kind of like,
Sonar.
yes, it's a sonar. Meaning like Escanor could say, I'm going to scan this section.
But it has to do with your senses, right? Because if he was invisible, you couldn't say, I'm going to look over there.
Well, you could. That's correct. That's correct. But you could still, because, all right, now we're getting,
Oh boy.
oh gosh.
This is how many videos we're going to make about this?
This may not be the last one
So,
now.
Okay, so standard humanoids in the Pathfinder 2 game have 5 senses. One of them is precise, sight. One of them is imprecise, which is hearing.
Okay.
The other 3 don't register. You can't, I mean, they count, but you can't use them for anything. Hearing is an imprecise sense, which means that the most you can ever get out of an imprecise sense is the creature is hidden.
Okay.
So if a creature was literally invisible by magical spell, you could still seek them because they're not magically silent. And you could succeed at your seek, and you could critically succeed at your seek. But because hearing is an imprecise sense, the best that they will ever be to you
Is hidden.
You will never be
Got
able
it.
to get them to observe.
This
That makes sense.
The only thing that you can get them to observe with is visual. And since invisible creatures literally no longer register on the visual spectrum, if you are relying on hearing, then the best you can get is hidden.
Okay.
So you could take them from undetected to hidden.
You could take them from undetected to
Okay.
hidden. Yep, that's exactly right. So that is what sneak does.
Yes.
All right. We've kind of talked about, the different ways that you can hide. We started off by saying that a character can get behind cover and hide. We said that they could get into a bank of fog or concealment and hide. But a character can also hide by making a deception check to create a diversion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a charisma skill, deception. For lack of a better word, it's, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, look over there.
Look over there.
Okay. If a creature succeeds at a deception check, you go against everyone's perception DCs, and you basically are treated as hidden until the end of your turn. So you get one turn to sneak behind cover or to make it a quick attack because they're flat-footed because they aren't looking at you. But basically, everybody turns around. They all look this way. And then you go and sneak over to here.
Well, everyone that you succeeded against, right?
That's correct. Everyone.
Yeah.
So in this actual instance, if this little lizard man here made a diversion, action one, he's not in cover. He's not in concealment. He makes a diversion. He succeeds. Everyone falls for his bluff. Huh? This creature is now hidden.
Right.
Because he's hidden, he can use his second action to sneak. He makes a stealth check.
Oh my gosh, he can go undetected?
Now he can move half his speed, and assuming he ends behind cover or in concealment, when you guys turn back around,
He's gone.
he's undetected.
How did that happen?
He just pulled a Batman.
Right? That's the Batman move. That's exactly what the Batman move is. He creates a diversion by asking them some sort of weird question, and then when they go, I don't know, and then he sneaks away. And when you turn back around,
Fantastic.
When you turn back around,
I hate it when he does that.
he's not on the battlefield. He's still here somewhere.
Right.
You just don't know what square he's in, and even if you did, he'd be hidden.
That's awesome.
So
That's powerful.
yeah, and it can create some really cool, fun.
I think
tactical
especially
fights.
if you're a rogue.
Yeah.
Because you could do that and then
But again,
sneak attack.
anyone could have stealth.
correct.
Anyone could have stealth.
They're
And I
just
think
better
that's-
at it than most.
And I think that's what's so important. All right, so that's sort of the nitty gritty of the tactics of stealth. But there's a little bit of strategy in stealth because you can use stealth to give you a nice advantage in exploration mode going into a combat as well. So, Bob, what do we else have?
You're talking about follow the expert here?
Well, I'm talking about avoid notice.
Avoid notice. The one I can't do because of my chainmail.
Right, you cannot avoid notice. So, avoid notice basically means that when you're not in combat, you're essentially, we can imagine your character's always making stealth checks.
Yep.
You're basically hiding in the shadows.
You're hiding
as
in the
you're
shadows
constantly
and you're
exploring.
moving through the corridor.
Correct.
And what this allows you to do is two big things. Number one, it allows you to roll your stealth for initiative,
Yep.
which might be a lot higher than your perception.
Because you start hidden, right?
Well, no,
You start. They start flat-footed to you, don't they?
okay, Bob doesn't know how
Calm
this
down.
works.
Calm
No.
down.
Oh man, I thought it was.
Bob is completely
You
wrong.
are undetected.
No. So if you roll stealth for initiative, you simply get to use your stealth.
Yeah, I know
for
that.
initiative, and it might just be a higher number.
Mhm.
What you're thinking of is surprise attack, and that is only a rogue ability.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I was like, there is something that I read.
Yes, it's only for rogues.
Now I understand.
If a rogue makes a deception check or a stealth check for initiative, okay, then as long as they go before an enemy, that enemy is flat-footed.
Now that's what it was. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So everything else, if me the barbarian just not in my chainmail, like was using stealth as my initiative roll, that's just what I'm using.
Now, this is where the game enters a little bit of a weird space.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if we want to cover this.
That's
Episode 4.
we could you could hint at it, but maybe we should continue on to like follow the expert and some of the other stuff.
All right. Well, basically, there's a weird situation where you can roll stealth for initiative, and you go in initiative order after your enemy. So your enemy goes first.
Okay.
But because you rolled stealth for initiative, you may have beaten that enemy's passive perception DC.
I've
which
heard you
means
say this before.
you're hidden. So they don't see you. They never saw you come in, but it's their turn in initiative order.
Mm-hmm.
and they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a weird situation. It's almost like the monster has a sixth sense. Someone's here. And they might start looking around for you and doing things like that. It can create a really weird situation. It's almost probably worth a video unto itself.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can use avoid notice to quietly move through the dungeon, and then that'll let you make a stealth check in order to start the fight off, potentially hidden.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And that could be very effective. Now, the way it works is you make your initiative, or you make your stealth check, and that's your initiative total. Just like normal, just like when you roll a normal perception. And if I roll a 27, that's my number.
Now, one thing to note, you don't have to use stealth if you're avoiding notice, because I know sometimes I've avoided notice when I didn't have the chainmail, and I was like, no, I still want to use my perception roll because it's so much higher than my stealth. At the time, it was so much higher. For whatever
reason, you may want to use your avoid notice.
But then you're not hidden.
You're not hidden. Yeah, you're just, because you basically said, well, I just wanted to get in there and do my thing and just start fighting normally.
You were being very cautious. Then you go, screw it, we're going.
Yeah.
But if the initiative order is rolled and you make your stealth check for initiative, that stealth check is compared to all of the creatures' perception DCs, not what they roll.
Yep.
Not what they rolled for their initiative, but their perception DC. And if you beat those perception DCs, you are hidden to that creature as long as you have cover or concealment.
Yep.
You still can't be hidden
in the middle of the room.
It doesn't work out that way.
I was avoiding notice.
Right. But basically, you were so quiet that when the fight started,
they didn't notice.
They didn't even notice you coming in.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. I think that can be very.
Well, that's a huge advantage. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to cover Follow the Expert.
Well, Follow the Expert doesn't really have anything to do with stealth.
It's just something that we use with stealth.
It's part of avoiding notice.
No, it's not.
I thought Follow the Expert
could be used for anything.
Sorry.
Like, for example, if you guys were climbing a mountain.
I'm thinking of Quiet Allies.
You are thinking of Quiet Allies.
That allows you to use basically Follow the Expert. You can use Follow the Expert within Quiet Allies, right?
Quiet Allies gives you a bonus to following the expert when you are making stealth checks.
That's what
But Follow the Expert is something like if you guys were all climbing a mountain and Azius, I go, make an athletics check. Well, Azius goes, I'm going to make an athletics check. I'm a dwarf barbarian. Burl and Gwildor, our wizard and sorcerer, might go, I'm going to follow the expert.
Yep.
So that way Azius, with his really high athletics skill, can help me climb this mountain.
Right.
The same thing's true when you're sneaking through a forest or sneaking through a castle. The goblin rogue makes a stealth check to avoid notice, and everyone else just follows the expert.
Yep.
Quiet Allies just gives you a benefit to that. That's
because you can only do one roll, right?
There's similar skill feats, by the way.
Oh, for each one?
For other ones as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I knew that my brother had Quiet Allies when he was a monk.
Correct.
And that was the one that was in my head. I was like, there's something we were able to take advantage of that.
Right. That's correct. Yeah. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a definite benefit. I think there's a skill feat. It might have come out in a later book called like lead climber. Like the person who goes.
They're all specific towards
the
that
person
type
who
of.
goes,
follow these rocks.
Yeah,
these are the ones
you're climbing up and putting in handholds and dropping ropes down.
You're the one doing most of the work.
You're going up Alex Honnold style, where you're just climbing up barefisted and then dropping ropes for other people to climb behind. So there's different ways that you can do that.
Okay,
but,
cool.
But again, the point is you can use stealth to get initiative. You can try to start the combat hidden. Creatures are going to be flat-footed to you. You may have abilities like Sneak attack. You might have things like backstabber on your weapon to give you a benefit if the creature's flat-footed to you. You might just want them to have a penalty to their armor class. And more importantly, it's an incredible defensive tactic.
Yes.
If you can get hidden, if you can get unnoticed.
50% off the gate is sweet.
If you can get undetected or hidden.
Undetected, that's
I mean, the enemy literally basically can't attack you.
Yeah.
Unless they spend their turn trying to use seek actions to scan a room for you, or if they spend their turns running around the room trying to break cover or concealment so that they can get a look on you.
But even if they do that, they're spending actions to seek, and then during your turn, you can go back and hide again.
You go back to action economy. Right. You're using your action to eliminate one of theirs.
Absolutely. So it's a really awesome set of skills, and I think it really behooves you as a player and for you GMs out there. Don't be afraid to put cover, pillars, boulders, barrels, crates into your terrain. It
also just looks cool.
If it's an early morning battle on a deserted road, maybe there's some morning mist and there are banks of fog rolling through.
And a cow.
A cow.
Just rolling through.
If anybody at home understood that reference, I did not. If anybody at home did, leave a comment below.
Help us out.
Yeah, and of course, always, as we make these videos, we always like to give a shout out to our Patreon. Our patrons have done an incredible job this past month. In October, we broke through our first Patreon goal of $350. Doesn't seem like a lot in YouTube land, but it's a ton of money to us.
Absolutely.
It's going to really allow us to upgrade our studio. We're going to try to go live here with live streams for YouTube. We're going to try to do live games, live Q&As, the whole shebang. And that's all thanks to the support from our Patreon and from our lovely, lovely folks there. And so if you want to support the channel, of course, please like and subscribe. But if you want to really support us directly, think about joining that Patreon. We have a great Discord community and a lot of really, really smart people there. A lot of GMs. So if you're interested in learning about GMing, I really recommend that.
Yeah.
Please feel free to check out the rest of our combat and tactics series, along with any of the other Knights of Last Call videos. And if you're interested in seeing how we play and how some of these rules come to be, check out our AP as well. We've got almost 30 episodes as we make our way through the rise of the Rune Lords. Well, guys, anything else left to say?
No, I kind of want to again, every time we do a comment and tactics, I'm like, well, the next time we play this AP,
absolutely,
got some stuff that I might want to do. Well, chainmail, but during combat, it's like, oh, maybe I should do that. Or
I know.
It's kind of sweet.
It's like every system within Pathfinder 2 has so much depth and complexity, and it does seem like a burden, but it's like anything, It's like piano, 88 keys, man. That's a lot to learn. But once you learn it, you can make some beautiful music.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I think it'll be a lot of fun going through it because it's a lot of stuff, too, you just don't think about.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I have these feats. I know I need to attack and stuff like that. But then it's like, all right, well, I can aid, I can sneak. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
this
you get
really
locked
has a
you
huge
just
thing.
get locked into a move attack or a move cast a spell. But there is a lot of tactical depth to this game. And quite frankly, some of these things, even if they are, maybe in some circumstances, they're not the most tactically active, they're at least a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's cool. And it really makes a cool moment. So I encourage you to give stealth a chance, to think about ways that could use stealth better, and really consider it as both an offensive and defensive tactic in your next combat battles. Well, that's it for stealth. Yes, 3 videos on stealth. I know it's crazy, but we thought it deserved its due. And of course, we're going to be back with more combat and tactics videos, along with a variety of other series covering everything from GMing skills, spells, and magic to us just hanging out and shooting the shit. So if you like any of that, let us know. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And as always, welcome to the Knights of Last Call.